Well, I think once we got going a little bit, obviously the game started to move in our favor. These first games, I was talking to kids, they're not easy to play. It's you can tell in a lot of different ways. A team that settles down, the older kids in your ball club, they can pick you up, and you get on a roll, then you can get things moving. And I thought we did. I thought Raby did another really good job. He's been so consistent in keeping us in the game. They had the one inning where they scored a couple, and they actually scored both runs with 2 outs. But thought we responded well in the bottom of the 5th, and just kept adding runs. Guy next to me had a heck of a day. He was very offensive in so many different directions. But just glad we could finish the game the way we did and play with that type of offensive punch.
Toff, if you look in the past 8-9 games, you're hitting nearly 600 in that stretch. That started after your injury, and I think that started after you were a leadoff hitter. What, either of those two things you think affected much?
I said it before, but that week off I got to sit back and watch the game from the dugout, and I got to be able to see tendencies and stuff like that. So that week off actually gave my body a good little rest and let my shoulder heal and kind of help me approach-wise as well.
St. John's coach said that the home run he didn't think would carry out. And you looked a little bit surprised, too, when you rounded first. I thought you looked even more surprised when you beat out the bunt without a throw. Either of these things, is it just that kind of stretch for you right now? Everything's going right?
Yeah, I agree. I was kind of surprised I got out. I hit it well, spun it well, but, I kind of just got over the fence, and I guess the bunt, I was surprised I got the no throw. I don't really have that great of speed, so.
To start with, you squared the bunt. Then did you have the bunt on, Coach, or did you take it off, or just a fake, or what was it?
Yeah, it's just a sign. I didn't really want him bunting in that particular situation.
Yeah.
Patrick, it's one thing to win the game. It's another to eat up innings the way that you did, because this isn't obviously one game. It's a regional. How aware are you of that? That needs to be done. You need to go deep into the game.
I would say that I know. I think it's in the back of my head, especially after last year. I had a little bit of trouble going deep in the games, and could have helped a little bit better last year in that case. But I think I've made a pretty good adjustment and growth over from one year to year. Pretty good, but I'm just trying to go out there and pitch, and not really thinking about it when I'm pitching, but just really trying to help the team in any way that I can, especially in that way.
Tim, kind of on what Will said about sitting and watching, is that something does that make sense to you, why he would be energized after taking a couple games off like he did?
Yeah, I do. I've seen it a few times. We did it with Connor Harrell when he was slumping pretty bad his junior year, and I actually told him, I said, you must sit down for a few games, and I said, no more than just being able to watch. And I remember he came out, he sat down 3 straight games. He came out, went 4 for 4 the next game. I'm not saying it's the medicine that a person needs, but I think what Toff said relates to kids because it gives them a chance to slow the game down a little bit and watch. And there's something to be said about that in a lot of different ways. So I can see how it benefits kids.
When he sat down, was that coach's decision, or could he have gone with the shoulder?
No, that was one of those things. He wanted to play right from the get-go. He's a tough kid to sit down to begin with. But as I told him, we're not going to take 1 step forward and 2 back. We knew that we had a stretch to play, and knew that if we were going to get dinged up a little bit with him out, it wasn't going to hurt us too bad. We just needed him for the long run because he's so valuable to us defensively and offensively.
Coach, how much does it help a team in a tournament that has all these pressure-packed moments, that at least towards the end of this game, that you can just kind of cruise and just get the first one behind?
Yeah. It certainly does. It's momentum, and college kids, professional kids work off of momentum, and that's what was happening. And after Toff's hit, it seemed like kids were getting up there, and they were pretty loose in their swings and driving the ball. The flights of the balls were completely different than they were the first 4 innings, and you can sense when a team's just trying to you know, they're not loose, and then you can sense a team when they've got it going a little bit, and we did, and that was refreshing to see.
What's the next 24 hours look like for you guys? As obviously you watched the game tonight, but you don't play again until tomorrow at 7.
Yeah, just some rest. I mean, it was an early morning. We'll talk tonight, and then the guys will watch the game and then just get their feet up. They need some rest right now and hydration more than anything else, and celebrate. Want them to feel good about what they did. This is in a lot of different ways. It's an emotional day for us. You know, you're talking about an anniversary of a young man that we lost. So for these kids, it's important that they won. They should celebrate what they did and celebrate each other and kind of the moment right now, because that was a big step in a lot of different ways.
Tim, during the game, I know you don't know this, but there were a lot of former players and people that have nothing to do with Vanderbilt baseball were tweeting about Donnie and recognizing that and cheering for you guys. Is part of this last year, you think, kind of bring more of that base together and a lot of widespread support for the program?
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I mean, you get involved in a successful culture, and then you get a lot of people outside of it that have strong feelings for the kids and how they feel, and they're protectors of the kids. And I'm sure for fans back home and people who followed us, this was important for them to see too. It's just important for our kids to have some type of success, and they should. They're deserving of it, and they play hard. So I think for everyone, it is a little bit of medicine.
Both of you guys, was that Donnie on your mind at all, or was it important to put that aside today?
I would say, I mean, it's kind of hard not to know, the anniversary of today, but, I personally just try to put it back behind me for the game, and, I'll come back to it tonight and think a little bit about it, but, it's emotional, but I wouldn't say it really came into the game at all, at least not for me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The same way, I woke up and I knew what day it is, but he's with us, mentally all the time and with us, and he's got something kind of put aside for baseball games, and I thought we did a fine job of that.
Tim, did you address that with the team?
Yeah, we did. We talked about it a couple of days ago, because I knew everyone, we think about it, and I just didn't want to leave it hanging. So we said, hey, we've gotten to a point now, we've mourned him for a long period of time. Let's move forward. We'll always think about him, but let's celebrate him by the way you play and the way you go about the game, because obviously he would want it that way. But it is human life, and it's delicate, and you can't ignore it. But I thought the kids did a nice job of just playing today and playing for each other.
Coach, it's been 15 years. What's Clemson? Does it look the same to you or different, or what is it?
Yeah, completely different.
It is.
Yeah.